Hello students, today we start a new chapter in engineering economics and estimate costing subject. Chapter name is Introduction to Engineering Economics. So this one is the last chapter of your syllabus. So first, what is economics? So definition of the economics is the analysis of economic environment requires the knowledge of economic decision making, and hence the study of economics is significant. So here four definitions of the economics is given. First is a wealth definition. So Adam Smith defined economics as a science which inquires into the nature and causes of wealth of nation. So according to this definition, economics is a science of a study of wealth only, and it deals with production, distribution and consumption, and this wealth centered definition deal with the causes behind the creation of wealth, and it only considered material wealth. Second definition is a welfare definition of the economics. So according to Alfred Marshall, economics is the study of a man, is the ordinary business of life. It is examine how a person gets his income and how it's invest it, and thus one side it is study the wealth, and on the other most important side it is the study of well-being. So features of the welfare definition is economics is a study of those activities that are concerned with material welfare of a man, and economics is deal with the study of the man in an ordinary business of life. So the study inquire how an individual get his income and how he use it. And the third one is economics is the study of a personal and social activities concerned with the material aspect of a well-being. And Marshall emphasized on a definition of material welfare. Herein lies the distinction with Adam Smith definition, which is well certain. Now third definition is scarcity definition. So this definition was put forward by the Robbins, and according to him, economics is a science which studies human behavior as a relationship between the end and scarce men which have a alternative use. And a feature of the scarcity definition is a human want are unlimited. Second is the alternative use of the scarce resources, and the third one is the efficient use of the scarce resources, and the last one is the need of optimization. Now fourth definition is a growth oriented definition. So this definition was introduced by the and Paul Samuelson. According to this definition, economic is the study of how man and society choose with or without the use of the money to employ the scarce productivity resources which have alternative use to produce various commodities over the time and distribution than for a consumption. However, in the future among various person or groups in a society, it analyze cost and benefit of improving patterns of resources allocation. Now next is the objective of economics. So here there are main five objectives is there. First one is a high level of employment. Second is price stability. Third one is efficiency, and fourth one is an accountable distribution of income, and fifth one is growth. Now next topic is flow in economy. So here the flow of goods, service, resources and money payments result in a simple economy. And household and business firm are the two major entities in a simple economy. And third point is a business organization use various economic resources such as the land, labor, capital, which are provided by household to produce consumer goods and service which will be used by them. And fourth one is a business firm make payment to money uh, to the household for receiving the various resources. And fifth one is the household in turn make payment to the business organization. Now next important topic is start is the law of supply and demand. So this one is a very most important topic and generally asked in a GD examination. So what is demand? So the desire for a commodity backed by the necessary purchasing power is known as a demand. And what is supply? So it represents the how much a market can offer, and it refers to amount of certain producers willingly to supply when receiving a certain price is known as a supply. So here, as per the law of supply and demand, so if the quantity is increased, so demand uh, as per the demand graph, price is decreased. And if the quantity is increased, so here supply is also increased and price is also increased. So from the graph we have exactly seen that shortage and surplus both are inversely proportional, and if the quantity is increased, same price is increased and supply is increased. And if the demand is decreased, so quantity is decreased and price is also decreased. Now law of demand. So what is law of demand? So the law of demand states that the if all the other factors remain equal, the higher the price of the goods, the less people will demand that goods, and the amount of goods the buyer purchase at the higher price is less, because as the price of the goods goes up, and so does the opportunities cost of buying that goods. And as a result, people will naturally avoid the buying a product that will force them to forego and the consumption of the something else the value more. And what is law of supply? So the supply relationship show that the if the price is low, the producers restrain from the releasing more quantity of the product in the market, hence the supply of the product is decreased. And from the above figure, the point of intersecting of the supply curve and demand curve is called a equilibrium point. So here see these graphs. So here supply and demand curve, so these both are the curve, and this intersecting point, this intersecting point is known as a equilibrium point. And at this particular point, the quantity of the supply equal to the quantity of demand. So here quantity of the supply and demand both are same, so at that time no any price increase or decrease. So at that time supply and demand both value are same, so at that time price is not in a change. Now next is factors influencing demand. So here the shape of the demand curve is influenced by the following factors. So first one is the income of the people. So if the people income is increased, so demand of the material is increased because they have lots of money to buy anything. Second is the price of related goods. So if the price is less, so demand is maximum, and if the price is higher, so demand is decreases. And taste of consumer, so it's depends on a quality, total depends on a quality. And if the income of the people increase, the purchasing power is increased. Like example is given, like if the cost of the TV set is lowered, its demand will go up. And the result of the demand for associated products such as a VCD would increase. And over a period of the time, preference of the people for a particular product may be increased, and which in turn will affect the demand. Now next topic is the factor influencing the supply. So here the shape of the supply curve is influenced by the following factors. So first factor is the cost of inputs. second is technology, third one is weather, and fourth one is the price of related goods. So the price of the fertilizer and the cost of labor is increased, the profit margin per bag of paddy will reduce. So because here cost of the labor is increased, so here due to increase the labor cost, so overall profit is decreased because labor cost is increased. And second is third point is hence the farmer will reduce the area of cultivation, and supply of paddy will be reduced. And if there is an advancement in technology used to manufacture the product, then there will be reduction in the production of the cost product, and hence the quantity will be supplied. And fifth one is weather also play a major role. During the weather, the demand for a woolen product will increase, and so the product will supply more woolen product during the winter. So it's a strategy for supplying material. Now next we start a concept of engineering economics. So what is engineering economics? So it is defined as a set of the principle, concept, technique, and method by which alternatives within a project can be compared and evaluated for the best money return, is known as engineering economics. So here principle of the engineering economics is first one is develop the alternatives. So decisions are made from the alternatives. So the alternative need to identify and then define the subsequent analysis. And second is a focus on differences. So only the differences in expected future outcome among the alternatives are relevant and should be considered for a decision. Third one is the use of user consistent viewpoint. So the prospective outcome of the alternative economic and others should be consistently developed from the defined perspective. And fourth one is the use of the common unit of a measure. So common unit of a measure to enumerate as many of a prospective outcome as possible will make easier the analysis and comparison of alternative. And fifth one is consider all relevant criteria. So select the preferred alternative required the use of the criteria. And sixth one is make uncertain explicitity. So uncertain in a inherent in a project, the future outcomes of the alternative should be recognized in their analysis and comparison. And last one is revisit your decision. So improve the decision making result from an adaptive process, and the initial projected outcome of the selected selected alternative should be subsequently compared with the actual result achievement. Now next topic is engineering economics analysis procedure. So here in this procedure there are the 7 steps is there. So in a first step we problem recognition, formulation, and evaluation. So first we define the problem and prepare one formula to solve the problem and evaluate it. And then after, second is the development of the feasible alternatives. So make a second path to solve any problem, or a second alternative path to develop the particular task. And third step is the development of the cash flow for each alternate. So here we prepare a separate path or alternative path. So here for a alternative path, some of the cash is required to solve the problem, or to solve the problem. And at that portion here some of the cash flow is compulsory required to solve it. And fourth step is a selection of a criterion. So here some of the criteria is first we prepare, and if any problem is satisfying this criteria, so continue the work and solve it. And fifth one is analysis and comparison the alternative. So here we prepare the alternative path to solve the problem. So here alternative path compare with the original path, and after comparison and analysis prepare data, and this data is uh, very helpful for solve the problem. And sixth one is a selection of a preferred alternative. So here we prepare the original path, and second is the alternative path. So after analysis and comparison of the both the path, which one is the best one, and minimum time and minimum cost, so we prefer the alternative. And the last one is performance monitoring and post evaluation result. So here in performance monitoring and post evaluation, so at the end of the work, or at the end of the task, we generate the result. So this result is help to evaluate entire thing. Now next is engineering efficiency and economics efficiency. So what is engineering efficiency? So it is defined as the ratio of the output to the input of a physical system. So the physical system may be diesel engine, shop floor, machine working, etc. So here engineering efficiency is equal to output divided by input multiplied by 100. So we get the answer in the form of the percentage. And economic efficiency, so it is the define of the ratio of the output to the input of the business system. So economic efficiency is equal to output divided by input multiplied by 100. So is equal to worth divided by cost multiplied by 100. So worth is annual revenue generated by the way of operating business, and cost of total annual expenses incurred in carrying out the business. Now next topic is the scope of the engineering economics. So here in the next lecture we discuss on a scope of the engineering economics. So here we stop our lecture. Thank you.